Is your brokerage actually helping you grow, or are they just taking a cut of your hard-earned commission? Today, Leni and I are getting personal about our paths in mortgage and real estate and the pivotal moments we realized we needed something more.
We're breaking down the perfect fit checklist and discussing the red flags that mean it's time to pack your bags. If you've been wondering if the grass is really greener elsewhere, this episode is your roadmap.
And we'll even tell you how to join the teams we're building right now.
Welcome to Realty Check, the podcast about the real lives of agents, lenders, and moms who do it all.
We're here for the honest conversations behind the business, the family, and everything in between. Let's get into it.
Good morning. Good morning. Okay, I can't sing. Hey.
I'm so happy to be here with you.
Long time no chat.
I know. To you all, it's only been 2 weeks.
I know. For us, it's been like a month.
I know. We're doing our best at recording things a little ahead of time because, we're working moms and we just want to make sure that we can still release on time. But, say lovey.
Yeah. We are also, for some reason, very giggly today.
Yeah.
So just be ready for some moments of giggliness.
Yeah. And thank you to our editor who's probably going to giggle out any fits of laughter that we have that are too long. So, Amanda.
Yes, ma'am.
What's going on? Are you crying? Are you thriving?
Okay. Okay. On a macro level, I want to cry.
Yeah.
Just always, constantly, right? Like, what is going on with the world, our country, all of the things. It's like, I don't even need to say anything in particular, even though there are particular things happening as of this recording today. But just like that constant sense of like, what the actual, okay, I won't say that, but what the actual, like, what is going on? Okay.
Yeah.
That said, I want to focus on me and my community. And so I'm going to focus on a thriving moment today.
I love that for you. Please tell.
Okay. So I have a Kindle. I purchased this Kindle like 10, 15 years ago. It's been forever. Okay. And I go through phases. Yes, seasons, phases, whatever, where I'm like really into my Kindle or I'm really not into my Kindle. And this season I'm very into my Kindle.
Ooh.
I use the Libby app. Are you familiar with the Libby app?
No.
Okay, so that it is the app that links your library card so that you can download a bunch of ebooks or audiobooks. You have never heard of Libby app?
No, because I'm a physical book person, but you're selling me on a Kindle right now. So keep going.
Okay. So, so it connects. So you can have, like, I think with our library, you can have 8 downloads at a time. You might even be able to have more loans than that, but you hold books, I don't know. It's a whole thing. And so I have been reading books on my Kindle. There's a local author. It's going to take me a second for my words to come to me today. There's a local author, and I binged all of her books from the library on the Libby app. And then I just recently went down a Libby app Reddit rabbit hole. Libby app Reddit rabbit hole.
Yeah, Libby app Reddit rabbit hole.
Say that 5 times fast. I don't think so. And I discovered something called skip the line, which is like when books that have long holds on them, they'll do like I don't know what to call it. It's like a magic skip the line where all of a sudden you won't have to wait 12 weeks to get a copy of this book, but I think it's first come, first serve. So whoever checks out the skip the line copy gets that copy. Ooh. And then they're constantly refilling it every day. So the Reddit post, it said, is anyone else addicted to the skip the line like me? I'm checking it multiple times a day. And I was like, I've never used this feature. So I started using it and now I'm obsessed with it. And I have been using the skip the line for audiobooks. So I've been picking audiobooks that I can listen to while I'm working out or while I'm driving. I took some clients to visit new builds like all day yesterday. We were gone for like 6 hours, and there's a lot of driving between communities. And so I got to listen to my audiobook. And so the second half of this very long-winded crying or thriving is the book that I picked. I didn't know the author. I didn't know I had never heard of this book before.
Do you mind sharing what it is?
I'm going to. Okay, good. It is like, I'm loving it. The The book is called The Storm, and the author is Rachel Hawkins. Hawkins? Really? Is that Hawkins? Or am I just saying that? Hold on. Let me pull it up real quick. Because now I'm like looking at it and I'm like, wait, Hawkins? It is Rachel Hawkins. So there you go. Really she's related in some way to Lori and the gang.
Yeah, maybe so.
But it is I really like to read thriller books. So it's a thriller murder mystery kind of where, there was a murder a long time ago. Someone was tried for the murder, but they were found like it was a hung jury. And so, no one has really known for all of these years how this person actually died. Yeah. And then all of these characters come back into each other's life, at 50 years later, and it's the story of everyone's perspective. And so, but now I think that from as I'm reading it and the way that certain things are worded from everyone's perspective, I'm like, oh my gosh, I think one of these characters is about to die because they keep saying found in the possessions of, and I'm like, wait, possessions of, it's kind of weird how they're wording this, which I didn't catch on to at first because it's an audiobook. Yeah. I'm sure I would have picked up on it right away if I was reading a hard copy, which is why I don't mind saying it right now because I feel like I'm not giving too much away by saying that phrase. But anyway, I'm really enjoying I've been wanting to listen to it before bed at night, but I haven't yet because I also hate listening to a book while falling asleep because then I'm like, where was I in the morning and trying to find my place or whatever. But
I do that same thing with podcasts, but on podcasts, at least you can set a timer.
You can on this too. Ooh. So maybe I need to experiment. My Aura Ring says that I fall asleep within 7 minutes of putting my head on the pillow. So I also don't have a lot of time. So then
set it for 10. Set it for 10, okay. And then you only have to go back 10 minutes.
Okay, that's true. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'll try that. Thanks, Leni.
I'm so excited for you. That's such a thriving.
It is. And I'm going to hold on to the thrivings right now.
Also, it's really cool that you are utilizing something that you got 10, 15 years ago.
I know. And that I'm constantly using my library card through it. And I think you can get I think it's the New York Library will give people cards across the country. So you can have multiple library cards. Anywhere that you can get a library card or that you have a library card, you can attach it to the Libby app. And so you can just ping between your library cards for stuff. Yeah.
Dang. I should have done that when I went to New York City.
You should have.
I did go to the library there. I messed up.
I think that you can do it online though. I think you can apply. Nice. I don't know. Maybe they only did that during COVID. I'm not really sure.
Am I going to start traveling and just getting library cards from every state?
Collect them. That would be kind of fun.
That'd be kind of fun. Yeah. All right.
How about you? How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. So this year, even though, as you said, dumpster fire of a world currently, I've decided that I'm going to stop waiting for life to be enjoyable and I'm going to make life enjoyable.
Oh my God, I love that.
Thank you. And so I planned a girls' trip and we went to New Orleans. And it was phenomenal. We just ate really good food and I got to talk to my son almost every other day and I would video time in the morning because everyone else would sleep in and I'm crazy and I don't know how to sleep. So I'd wake up early and I'd have 3 hours in the morning to just discover the city on my own. And so I would FaceTime with my kiddo and I would show him the city that I was in. And it was really awesome moments.
How was the music?
So good. So if you've never been to New Orleans, there's just live music everywhere. It's crazy in the sense of you are in one little cafe and there's live music and you walk outside and as soon as you step outside, you start hearing music beckon you to another location. And it's just music on music and it's all good. It's all good music. And we even went to a jazz brunch and we were sitting there and my friends, being my total friends, were like, we're here for my friend getting a divorce. And I was like, you jerks. And so the jazz singer was like, I'm going to name a song after you. And he makes a song for me and he's saying my name to the entire restaurant. It was very silly. It was a great time.
Yeah.
It was a very good time. So I'm thriving because of that. And then Again, this is my birthday month. It's my birthday month. We're currently in February.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And so
We're actually in March, but that's okay.
We are in March. Sorry. Happy March.
We'll pretend. We'll pretend.
Okay.
We're still in February. Happy birthday month.
So I decided to throw a party for myself. And when my kiddo was going to his dad's house, I was dropping him off at school and I'm giving him lots of cuddles and hugs before sending him to breakfast. And he's running up to the breakfast door and he turns around and he goes, Mama, remember. And I said, remember what? And he goes, remember to have fun. And I
melt.
I know.
Heart melt.
And if you are a parent out there listening, you probably relate to this, but you constantly ask the question of, am I a good parent? Yeah. Am I doing a good job? Am I being a good steward of this person? Right?
If you're a good parent, you're asking that question.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I ask myself that question constantly and I struggle with it constantly. But in that moment I was like, I think I'm actually raising a good person. And the fact that he is using the verbiage that I use for him, because I'll do that to him. I'll be like, hey, remember? And then I'll say something like that.
Yeah.
And the fact that he did it back to me, it was magic. So
I love that.
I'm living on that high, baby.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Yay. Look at us thriving while we also want to cry, but we find those moments to thrive, right?
I know.
That's what we have to do.
We have to.
I am learning that in this phase of life, I don't think that we're going to get away from the crying. So let's find those thriving moments.
And it's okay to feel the crying. It's just also important that we don't become downtrodden and lose all hope.
Right. And we don't have to, it's not, how do I say this? Suffering isn't mandatory. That's not what I mean. But do you know what I'm trying to say?
Suffering doesn't make us a marter for it.
Yes.
We're not actually fixing the solution by constantly living in a depressed state.
And joy is part of the resistance. Finding joy is resistance.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, cool.
Yay.
Thanks for listening to that, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I honestly, I can't wait to hear about your guys's. So I know that some of you, we don't ever talk, but if you ever want to DM me and tell me what your crying and thriving is, I would love to hear it. Because
also, I will. I'm gonna spill the beans a little bit.
Spill it.
Okay, Leni has been kicking around this idea for since we started this thing.
Yeah,
she has wanted to build community around this, and we've been kicking around the idea of a monthly Zoom club type thing. First, she wanted to say that there was a set number of people who would be included because she's like, it'll just be too much talking or whatever. And I'm like, Lenicia, there are people like me who just want to log on and listen and don't want to talk and don't want to have the video on. So there are enough.
That there's people like that. Because
she's like, it'll be way, if we have 15 people on there and everyone's trying to talk the whole time. I'm like, no, some people just want to be a fly on the wall and that's okay. So all that to say, if this is something that could be something that you would enjoy being a part of, will you send us a DM or send us a message? Because we'd love to see if there's interest in something like this.
Yeah, I think of it as possibly being maybe a monthly Crying or Thriving where we kind of just talk about what's going on. We've mentioned it before, but something in our industry is that you are a solopreneur, right? Mm-hmm. You're a solo entrepreneur. And so sometimes it can be very isolating. And so I want to create a space where we can kind of come together, find solace, realize that we're not alone, bounce ideas off of each other, just hear what others are experiencing, because I think it just helps us all just become better as a whole.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of want to do this. Probably going to start in the next few months if there's interest. So if you are interested, let us know.
And really, you only need one of you to raise your hand and step up, and Leni's going to be all over
absolutely.
it. So
absolutely.
We can start small and grow. That said, what are we talking about today?
Ooh, so you picked a really nice title for this episode.
Gemini picked a really nice title for this episode. I will admit that I utilize AI not to do all the work, but I use it for inspiration. So thank you, Gemini, for helping us. But yes, please tell me.
The title is The Right Home for Your Hustle. So we are talking about the big B.
Bitch.
Brokerage.
Okay, got it. We're a couple of big B's over here.
We're a couple of big B's talking about a bigger one, the brokerages.
Okay, great. So today we're going to talk a little bit about our brokerage journeys.
Yeah.
And then also our thoughts on what people should be looking for if they're like getting into the industry and don't have any idea what kind of brokerage they might be looking for, or even are considering a swap.
Yeah.
Maybe some red flags to prompt you that it might be time to move on.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Absolutely.
Sweet.
And you all just listened to our recent episode, hopefully, where we got to talk to a newly founded brokerage owner.
Yes.
So
if you haven't listened to that episode, it pairs,
are you
pairs really well with this one.
Go back there. Go back there, listen to that, and come right back here.
Or listen to this and then hop over there. They could flow either way.
You know what? I will admit, I am chaos. I am chaos incarnate sometimes.
We love you for it.
And sometimes I listen to podcasts. I love podcasts.
Oh, no. Don't say what you're about to say. Don't say it, Leni.
Sometimes I listen to podcasts the opposite way.
Lenicia. Oh. You hurt my brain.
So, and That's Why We Drink is one of my favorite podcasts. And
I thought you said that's why we drink.
No, and that's why we drink.
Because you listen to podcasts backwards.
No, one of my favorite podcasts is called And That's Why We Drink.
Okay.
And I started listening to it a year into their genesis.
Okay.
And I listened to all of their episodes backwards for the first year.
It must be very interesting to watch someone devolve in their skills.
It's really good, actually. And then I switched from there to listening the other way around. But
wait, so you listened to everything twice?
I listened to episode year one backwards, and then from year 1 to year 2 onwards, I've listened to
Christ.
it. I know,
Okay.
I know, chaos.
All right.
Anyways,
All right.
Brokerages. That's what we're talking about, baby.
Why don't you share your mortgage broker journey with us? Because it is. Well, I mean, we've both been through multiple brokerages in our respective, but on the mortgage side, will you share your story with us?
Yeah. So just a little bit behind the curtain. Pew, pew. When it comes to brokerages, if you're not in our industry, let me just explain to you. A brokerage is kind of like your umbrella company. They're the person who kind of they have like the bigger insurance policy in case things go awry. They're the ones who, in mortgage, they're the ones who are getting technically approved by other lenders to be able to use their products. They're the ones who are getting the commission checks and sending you your split. A split means a percentage, depending on what, like the split or the percentage depends on what you have in place. And they're the ones who kind of handle all like compliance related issues. Depending on your brokerage, the amount of compliance kind of differs. So that's kind of what a brokerage does. It's like your umbrella. They're like your safety net.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what a good example would be. Yeah. And I'm coming up empty at the moment. But yeah, they're just like, they're the parent. Yeah. And you get to be the little kid running around doing
it's kind of like a school, right? Like you go to a certain school, but your classroom is like the one who's doing like the big things that are affecting you on a micro level, but like on a macro level, the school is what you're a part of.
The admin team of the school is like your brokerage. And then you are the teacher of your classroom of clients. Yep. How about that?
Yeah.
I like that.
We did it. We found out.
Yes.
We figured it out. High five. We are capable.
Teamwork.
Okay, so when I originally got licensed, and we briefly delved into this in previous episodes, but when I first got licensed,
But someone might be listening backwards, Leni, and might not know your
like
story at all.
Ooh.
Chaos.
So in mortgage, there's a few different options. There is retail, and there is like brokerages. So retail would kind of be like you work for a direct company, like a bank. Like let's say U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank does their own mortgages. So you could work for U.S. Bank and do loans solely for U.S. Bank, meaning you're just worrying about their compliance. You're just like following their rules. Or you can work for a brokerage, and a brokerage again is your umbrella company that gets approved by multiple lenders, and you can shop around. When I was in college, I got scouted essentially by a retail mortgage company.
Okay.
They did their own loans. Everything was in-house. That means that they had their own processing team. They had their own underwriting team. They financed their own loans. And then from there, they decided if they wanted to keep the loans or sell them.
I feel like the layperson believes that is the majority, is that there are these in-house lenders writing their own stuff. How common in the mortgage industry are in-house versus like the broker kind of, where you can work with multiple types of lenders?
That's a great question. I would say if we had this conversation 10 years ago, it would be a much larger percentage.
Okay.
So when, sorry, I'm trying to think how to word this. If you go back to the early 2000s, there was a lot more brokerages. There's a lot more brokers out there. It was the Wild West. People didn't really have to have much of a license. They could just, decide that they wanted to be a mortgage person, and they just all of a sudden were.
Okay.
And then during the crash, a lot of those smaller companies dissolved.
Okay.
And it became more of a big bank, retail-oriented field again.
Okay.
And I would say over the last 10 years, there has been a larger number of people going to be a broker.
Okay.
In brokerages. And so, and again, personally speaking, I think that's to the benefit of the client because, again, I get the options. People get the option of shopping around, getting products that they wouldn't necessarily be able to get. And so I would say it's more common now. I would say about, maybe I'm wrong. I don't have the stats in front of me. So if you are in mortgage and you're like, she's wrong, I probably am. But but I would say it's probably closer around still only 30, 40%, maybe 30% of all loans are done by brokerages rather than retail or big bank.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. But I also feel, and you can tell me if this is wrong, that that continues to grow. Because I have,
very much so.
Just like you have multiple agents that you work with, I have multiple lenders that I work with.
Yep.
And one of my other lenders that I work very closely with, he recently went from retail to being a broker and opening his own brokerage because he could not be competitive anymore as a retail broker.
He couldn't.
And he's like, this is I'm not doing my clients, I'm doing my clients a disservice, and I'm having to pass them on. They're shopping around and they're finding that my rates aren't the best anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's also tough about working with a big retail company is you are set to their commissions. So again, pulling back the curtain here. So we make money off of you getting a loan, right? That's how I get paid. I get paid when your loan closes. And so I get they're called BIPs, basis points, that you can charge a client. So 100 basis points is 1% of the loan amount. So there are big banks and certain retail companies where they say, we charge 275 bips. That's 2.75 bips.
Okay.
And they're like, that's what we charge, no matter what.
Okay.
And so that means that
You can't be flexible.
you can't be flexible. So let's say your client is shopping around, or let's say it's someone that you were like, hey, I know this person. We're at a property size amount that I don't want to make more money off of this. I'm okay with making less. You don't have that choice.
Okay.
And so that's tough.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas for me, for instance, if for some reason I really want to win a deal and someone has better pricing than me, I can just lower my commission and I can win it over, right?
It's also interesting because on the real estate side, it cannot be regulated at all. I guess perhaps I don't think even on the brokerage level, because I know agents, everyone sets their own prices, their own commission, but I'm not sure if even on a broker level, if a broker is allowed to say this is our bottom line. I guess probably. I don't know. I guess I would need to look into that more.
This also is nice because working for a brokerage, you can decide, okay, this company right here, they have a certain product that I know people need to get.
Okay.
So I'm going to take a lower commission to make it work. And so for this certain lender, I'm always going to take a lower commission.
Okay.
Whereas I usually will take this commission. And so you can do things like that. Whereas in retail, again, that's just impossible. There's no way you could do it.
Sorry. The dog is deciding right now. He also was scratching at the door. And when I opened the door for him, just stared at me and would not come in.
Dog, you know I'm a cuddler.
You're gonna have to go on timeout though if you don't settle down.
So long story long to say, I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a peer behind the curtain.
No, I think it's
understand
great. Yes.
What a brokerage is from a lender's perspective.
Yes.
So I started out in retail. So retail means I wasn't working for a big bank, quote unquote, but I was working for a mortgage company who only did their own products and their own loans.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I guess you could say I chose them, but I don't know if I really chose them because I'd never been in mortgage before.
Right.
And they scouted me and, I was broke and I needed to pay for my own way to eat.
Yeah.
And so they offered me a job and they offered to pay for my licensing. And so I got licensed through them. They paid for all my classes. I started working. And I'm someone, we talked about this many times, I love helping people. If I wasn't doing this, I would have another career where I was helping people. And so I really liked the idea of just going around and just helping people out. And when I worked for this company, I came in it with bright eyes, bushy tail, ready to go. And I realized that their idea of what a fiduciary was different than what I was. And so... And also I think they, maybe this is me personally, but I think they purposefully wanted me to stay ignorant to the process. So they didn't want me to learn how to process loans. They didn't want me to learn how to think like an underwriter.
You were a cog in their machine.
I was a cog in the machine, right? They saw me as someone who was outgoing and could do well in sales. And they were like, just focus on getting an application and we'll make it, like, grab the spaghetti, throw it on the wall and we'll see what sticks.
Yeah.
And so I only lasted there a very short period of time and I left. And then I left mortgage as a whole.
Right.
And at that time in California, you used to be able to put in contracts like, if you do not stay with us for a certain amount of time, you will have to pay us back or you can't go into another industry. Or
like a non-compete? Okay.
So I had a non-compete with them and I didn't want to fight it, even though I probably could have.
And how long was it for?
For a year.
Okay.
And so.
Which means that you're essentially having to pivot completely out of mortgage because you can't not have a paycheck for a year.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So I became an office manager and then, fell in love, got engaged, decided to get married, and I decided that I wanted to go back into mortgage because we wanted to start a family.
Yeah.
And I knew that it would be a little bit more flexible than, working for myself would be a little bit more flexible than working for someone else and having to ask for time off to do things.
Yeah.
And so I started looking at different brokers and I went on LinkedIn. Because I didn't know where else to go. I didn't know who to call. So I just went on LinkedIn and I typed in mortgage loan officer. and I looked for all these different brokerages out there. And I knew that I wanted to go broker.
Okay.
Because I helped my birth father buy a house when I worked for the retail company. And when going through it, I realized that there wasn't really many products out there. And they didn't offer any first-time homebuyer programs. Nothing like that.
Okay.
And they really put in my head that I would probably have to, have 20% down to buy a house, or I'd have PMI. And they talked about how terrible PMI was and how stupid people had PMI. And I was like, I don't know. You're not stupid to have PMI, by the way. And I'll explain why later if you'd like. But anyways, all this to say, I wanted to work for brokerages. So I'm applying for these brokers. I got hired by one. And it was awful.
Okay.
It was awful. I'm going to be very honest with you guys about what happened. I'm not going to say the name of this brokerage whatsoever.
Okay.
So
tell us, though. Give us the tea.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I interview and the broker, he's a gentleman, he interviews me and he's telling me about how things work and everything. And he's like, yeah, I'm really big on education. And he's saying all the words, right? All the words,
all the right phrases that you,
yeah.
Yep.
he's like, yeah, I'll have you work on my loans. And then as you build your own list, and then you can become your own LO. And, I'll just teach you all these things. I'll show you how to read rate sheets certain ways, all this stuff. Right. And then I look at his team and it's all women.
Okay.
And then I found out, and I stayed there for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay. I found out that he called him his girls. He's like, my girls.
Creepy.
So creepy. He'd be like, my girls, they all work so hard. And I love taking my girls on vacations.
Creepy.
And then I found out that he was dating the office manager. And I was like, I cannot be here. And then I was sitting there at that desk and I was like, I hate this. There's no way I can go into mortgage again if this is how it is again. Like
all 8 days into the job.
All 8 days into the job. And at lunchtime, I was in my car crying, listening to early on Chappell Roan. Was Chappell Roan around at the time? No. Who was I listening to? I was listening to some girly pop. I love girly pop music. I was crying in the car, and I called my then husband, and he's like, just quit. You hate this. And I said, just quit? I was like, don't I need to give notice? He's like, you've been there 2 weeks.
Yeah. They don't need to. Yes, there's nothing for them to backfill.
I went in and I went back in and I was like, I went to the office manager. I was like, I'm really sorry about this. I don't think this is a good fit. And she's like, why? And I said, I don't think this is what I expected. And I was like, I wish you guys all the best. But, I don't think this is the right fit for me in my life right now. Yeah. And so I walked away. And again, I had no job. So then I was like, oh, what am I going to do? And I got a job.
I'm glad you got that support, though, from the house.
Thank you.
From your then husband.
Yes.
Having that support is huge when having to put yourself first over the job.
He was very supportive when it came to that. And it was really nice. Yeah. And so quit that job. And I was back to the drawing board of looking for a job. And again, this is 2020. I don't know if you guys remember that time, but it was kind of hard to find a job. And so I became a membership coordinator for a chamber of commerce.
Okay.
And it was nice. I really liked the idea of helping small businesses because, again, I love small businesses. And doing that. But again, it wasn't what I wanted to do. I had quit my job as an office manager to go back into mortgage. Yeah. So it wasn't what I told myself that I was going to do. And I started looking around at other jobs. I got an offer from another mortgage company. And when this person had his own mortgage brokerage, real estate brokerage, and he also, or real estate license, and also his own insurance company. And so he's like, yeah. And again, I applied for a job with the title being mortgage loan officer.
Okay.
On LinkedIn. And I go to interview, and at that time we needed money, right?
Yeah.
I have bills to pay.
Yeah.
I can't just keep, And so I interview, I get hired, I hang my license with him, do all the things. And then he says, well, I really need help with my insurance company right now. Can you help me out with my insurance company? I was like, sure. So I start running his insurance company.
Okay.
And I'm not doing mortgage. I'm not touching any of his mortgage files. I'm not doing I'm not building my own clientele list.
Oh my God.
And then he's like, well, I need help with my real estate company. Can you help me? Can you be a TC? So then I start being a transaction coordinator.
I didn't know that you were ever a transaction coordinator. Oh my God.
For this man.
Yeah.
And again, he owns 3 companies and he's putting me in the 2 that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I doing here? And so I'm working there. It's going fine. But I get a call from the current president of the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
Her name was Lori Hawkins.
Oh, what? I feel like that name is so familiar.
So familiar. I get a call from her and she says, hey, what are you up to? And I was like, oh, she's like, I would love to have a meeting with you. And she gave me any context about what she wanted to meet about.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And so this is on Thanksgiving in 2020. And so the day after Black Friday, we have a Zoom call. And I remember exactly where I was in my office at home. I remember to this day, I remember the exact conversation. And she's just asking me about what I'm doing. And I told her that I was working for a mortgage company. She's like, really? She's like, what made you do that? And I said, well, I'm licensed. She's like, you're licensed? And I said, yeah. And she's like, look, I'm going to be very honest with you. I liked how you worked. I liked how you presented yourself. I want to see if you'd be interested in working for me. And so I came and visited her office. And I visited her office, and it's not a harem of girls that she's cultivating. But she's, she was just telling about who she was. And I just saw her rhythm, and I saw how she interacted with her clients, and I saw how hard she worked, and I saw the standard that she held herself to. And I just shadowed for a day. I said, let me just shadow for a day, because I don't want to just keep finding companies and leaving.
Right.
And so I was like, I'll come shadow you. So I shadowed for a day, and I was like, no, I want to be here.
Oh my God.
So we talked about, what my commission split was. Cause again, I'm still pretty green in the industry. And so we decided on, the commission split was not it wasn't better for me, you know? But I knew that instead of starting out with a giant commission or giant split, I would be getting a lot of resources.
Right.
And that's really
huge.
important to me.
Yeah.
Especially when you're new in the industry, you have to understand, what's the cost benefit here? Is it better for me to get 100% of zero? Or is it better for me to get 50% of 20? Right? 50% of 20 is a lot better than 100% of zero. And so working for her, I got to touch all of her files. And this is 2020. So 2020, business was crazy.
Yeah.
I was getting to work on up to 40 to 80. Like personally, I was working on 40. I was working on half of her pipeline pretty much.
Wow.
So I was working on 40 loans a month.
Wow.
Going into the industry. I'm learning quick, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I'm getting my own clients. And she's literally sitting right next to me, showing me how to process.
Oh my gosh, that's
And
amazing.
she's showing me how to calculate income, or where she's like, you see this on the tax return, someone would forget this, or this, you don't want to include this income because it will add more problems later on. She's teaching me all of these things that are invaluable in our industry that you do not get unless you have a mentor. She wasn't just hiring me to be an assistant. She was hiring me to be a loan assistant and to be a mentee. Yeah. That's what she was hiring me to be. And
to raise the next generation.
Yes. And so it was eye-opening. It was an experience like no other. And I'm working on this team, and I really enjoyed the fact that it was a small brokerage, because then I got to have a voice on things. Yeah. So when I noticed something that I didn't understand in the system, I'd be like, hey, why do we do it like this instead of this? And instead of her taking it as criticism, she's like, yeah, let's try it that way. And so I was able to implement things. Or I was like, really cool. Hey, in this area, because we have a large team, we should have a standard operating procedure. Yeah. She's like, okay, do you want to write it? And I was like, yeah, I do. So I was able to create standard operating procedures.
Oh my gosh, that's so great.
And I'm a nerd. I'm a total nerd. I'll admit that any day. I like knowing procedures. I like knowing how things are going to flow. Yeah. And she did too. And so the fact that it was a living company that we were able to make changes of. And then when we were hiring, she finally asked me, she's like, would you manage a team? So then I was teaching new people in a very short period of time. Yeah. And being able to lead a team, and then being able to help them and get them to grow and help them get licensed. I mean, it was a great experience. And working for her, I was able to get her logins to programs or like learning things. Like she was paying to be a part of a big mentoring program that would usually cost you thousands of dollars to be a part of. Yeah. And I didn't have that. Right. And she was giving me her logins and letting me look at it and kind of see what's happening so I can learn from it too. I mean, that was great. Yeah. And as I got better, my commission split changed, right? Yeah. And so my commission split is evolving with me. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie. I get calls from different brokerages out there who are like, hey, join our team and we'll only charge you $600 a file. And sure, $600, you're only going to charge me $600 a file, like for a closing?
On paper,
that sounds nice. Phenomenal. Yeah. But then I'm like, what's my access to your broker? Yeah. Do I get one-on-one time? When I have an issue, who am I contacting? Who are my processors? Do I have to use your processors? These are all the questions that you need to ask, right? Same when you're joining a different real estate. Do I have to use your TC? Can I use my own TC? What are the rules and regulations of your office?
Right.
And I've thought about that a lot. And what it comes down to is I still find my current setup to be better than what's out there.
Yeah.
And so and Lori and I talk about this constantly. I've mentioned that I want to get my broker's license, and I'm going to get my broker's license this year. And instead of Lori taking that as a competition, Lori's been like, hell yes, you need to do this for yourself.
Oh, I love that.
And
what a supportive environment.
And the fact that even if I get my broker's license, I can stay on her team, but I have that.
Right.
Is so helpful.
Yeah.
And I don't see myself leaving because I think it's a really good setup that I have.
Yeah.
I have a great support system. I get all of her wealth and knowledge. She was an underwriter. She's been a processor.
Go listen to her episode if you haven't already.
Go listen to her episode. And I take full advantage of it. And now even so, I'm learning how to be a processor and helping process other files now. And so it's really interesting. It's really interesting to see this growth within this career of mine. And I think for me, I stay because of the learning opportunities. I think that the learning opportunities are more important than the potential more quote unquote income.
Yeah.
And I say quote unquote because there's no guarantee, right?
Right.
And so, anyways, that's kind of my journey. Long story long.
I love it. No, it's gosh, it doesn't matter how many times I hear your story. I feel like I continue to learn new little tidbits every time I hear it. I love that.
Yeah, you didn't know that I was almost conned into a culty harem mortgage company?
I was unaware of that one. That's pretty good. I like that. I mean, I don't like that. I mean, I was entertained by that.
Yeah. All right. So you've heard my journey. You've heard me yap for quite a bit of time.
We love it.
Amanda,
yes,
what's your
ma'am.
journey?
Okay, so I have also been through multiple brokerages, and sometimes, well, it used to be kind of embarrassing for me because it's the stereotype in real estate of the agents that jump around on brokerages are the ones that aren't making any money. And so they always think the grass is greener, the grass is greener, the grass is greener. And so they hop like a little bunny through all of the little brokerages and never make money and expect that the next brokerage will be the one that changes it all. However, I feel as though I've had very valid reasons for all of my changes. And so I guess, I don't know, you guys can all determine after listening to my story if it was valid or not, or if I'm just a little bunny hopping from brokerage to brokerage.
Little bunny frou hopping through the forest.
Jackson was singing that song to me this week, and I'm like, that is such a terrible song.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's awful. Okay. Anyway, okay, so for me, I was licensed. It's funny that you mentioned Thanksgiving Day of 2020, because I know where I was on Thanksgiving Day of 2020. I was on my father-in-law and mother-in-law's couch purchasing a Groupon to get my real estate license, all of the
Look at us.
I know. We were busy on Thanksgiving Day of 2020. And so I started the journey then, and my whole thought process was, okay, my son was born in 2019. I hadn't worked in 2020 because of COVID. And my career before kids was, I was a behavior analyst, a board certified behavior analyst. I had some experience in marriage and family therapy, very much helping fields, going back to being drawn to helping people.
Yeah.
But also very emotionally draining jobs. And I knew that with kids, I was not going to be able to continue on that trajectory of being a BCBA or being a therapist.
Yeah.
So this was kind of my pivot where I was looking for a career that would be somewhat flexible for me to continue to be the primary parent, that would allow me, I could ease into it because at the time I was essentially a stay-at-home mom. And so I didn't have like that pressure to make money right now. It was something I could possibly ease into. And yeah, I've always kind of been like had this inkling of my roommate in college, her dad was a broker in the East Bay. And so in the summers, she'd go and work for her dad. And I was always fascinated by what she was doing.
Ooh.
But I never, like, I was a summer camp counselor every summer. So I didn't get to experience it.
Wait, you were a summer camp counselor?
For many a summers.
That fits so well.
Rascal was the name of my camp name.
Oh, I'm definitely calling her Rascal from now on. I love coming up with names for people. I made up a name for her husband recently that I thought was really funny.
Wait, you did? Do I know it?
I told you it.
Wait, did you?
Juror number 9.
Oh, yeah. That was so good. He was on jury duty and he was juror number 9 and she called him that for the next 3 weeks.
All right, Rascal, continue.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes. Okay. So all that to say, that was like how I got into real estate. Mm-hmm. So then I was licensed when I was 9 months pregnant with Maya, with my second. And so that would have been in August-ish, I would have been licensed. So come September and October, I was trying to figure out, okay, after the newborn phase, like, you know, wore off just a tiny bit, I needed to find a brokerage to hang my license with. Yeah. So you were looking on LinkedIn. I was looking on Indeed. So here I am on Indeed. And I don't know, I think what I was looking for was like if there was a way, I essentially wanted to be an assistant. Yeah. I wanted to find a real estate broker who was looking for an assistant that I could maybe do part-time stuff like remotely, help them out, learn the business.
It's the safe way and, in my opinion, the smart way of entering an industry.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of what I was looking for. I found a broker on there that was looking, I think they said that they were looking for a real estate assistant, I'm pretty sure was the title of their post. Mm-hmm. And their brokerage was based in Redding, California, which is about 3 hours north of us. But they were expanding into Sacramento. And the idea was this broker wanted to be able to market to sellers in Sacramento. And he needed an agent licensed in Sacramento.
Boots on the ground.
To go to listing appointments, so he would get the client and then I would be doing all of the stuff for his clients in the area. That was how he sold it. Yes. And the split was very bad. I mean, it was like, but you know, I was like, I'm just getting started. I just want the experience. This sounds like it could be a good thing. You know, I could also work with my own clients. Yeah. So I work with this brokerage. I was with them for about 9 months, I think, and worked with one client that was my client, my listing, and had zero help. And I got fined for my listing because I didn't upload after I signed the listing agreement. I didn't upload it into the MLS in the amount of time that is specified in the MLS because I didn't have anyone guiding me appropriately. Dang. And they have a different MLS up there, so maybe the rules are not even the same.
Oh my gosh.
I was able to get the fine waived, but but it was still like one of those things where I was like, if I'm going to be getting my own clients, I need someone who can actually guide me and know what's going on.
And let's rewind. For 9 months, he didn't get a single client down here?
No.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So this brokerage, though, it was part of a larger brokerage.
I see.
So it's kind of like it's a multiple umbrella situation where there's this tech brokerage that will hold all of the liability for these smaller brokerages that are actually teams, like real estate teams, but they operate as independent brokerages without having the liability because they have this umbrella company over them. And so over my time working with this guy, I found out that there were actually local teams, miniature brokerages, that were under the same umbrella company.
Yeah.
And so I interviewed with one of them that was based out of Folsom, and I switched to them. So like technically I was still under the same parent umbrella company, but I was switching to something that was more local. My idea, the thought process was, I need the local support. I need the guidance. They had an in-person office. They did monthly meetings. They had mentorship opportunities. They're all really cool people. Like it was a good family system, very like family group. But I was very clear when I switched brokerages. I said, hey, look, I have like a 6-month-old. Like I'm not going to be able to go guns blazing right now. It's going to be a slow burn for me and I'm going to build up. And I do think that I have a career in real estate. I do think I'm going to be successful in this, but you just have to understand it's going to take me probably about 3 years for me to get there.
Yeah.
And I was under the assumption that we were all on the same page with that. Unfortunately, 11 months later, when I was on vacation with my family, I got a phone call from one of my mentors. He was in charge of like the agents in the office. And he said, hey, you've been here 11 months and you haven't sold anything. And I said, well, as we discussed when I got hired, like my thought process is I want to be with a brokerage that is teaching me things and I'm creating a foundation right now. And it's kind of a slow build for me.
Yeah.
This particular brokerage was also big with Zillow Flex. They were a Zillow Flex team.
Yeah.
So they were getting a lot of Zillow leads. And that was like, they gave those leads to their agents.
Can we explain what Zillow Flex is for the layman person? Because I think a lot of people think that when you're going on Zillow and you're saying you want to view a house, that you're viewing it with the listing agent.
Yeah. Instead, when you click on that, book a tour, it's going to agents who, it's going to brokerages and teams and agents who pay a buttload of money to get these leads directed to their phone. And then it's sent to, like, for ours, if you were in a zip code, all 5 agents who were assigned to that zip code in the office, all of our phones would ring at the same time. And whoever picked it up first got that lead. You would meet them at the house. And if you could secure them as a client, then they were your client. And then you would feed, you'd have your split with your brokerage of how much money you were paying for a client. And then you would also, on top of that, right off the top, you would give, I think at the time it was 30% of your commission. It's now up to 45% of your commission goes to Zillow. So they are charging people to be the connector, but they're also getting these clients in some would say, lawsuits that have been filed would say maybe not the most ethical way when you think that you're reaching out to the listing agent and instead you're being rerouted to Joe Schmo who just happens to have
I just
money.
wanted people to understand that because I have friends even who said, oh, we just wanted to view this house, so we just clicked it. And I'm like,
I have to tell you, one of my friends, so I think that being on a Zillow team, if it's run correctly, which this brokerage ran it correctly, it's really valuable. It's a great way to get a lot of clients really fast. We talk about, short-term bucket of clients and long-term bucket of clients. I was working on my long-term bucket of clients. I didn't have anything for short-term. Zillow leads are great short-term, fast money, but you're having to pay an arm and a leg for them. I didn't have to. The brokerage was, and then you have to give them a split. Funny story. One of the gals on this team she once picked up a Zillow lead, and she was getting the person, like, she said hello, and then all of a sudden she was like, "Is this Christy?" And the person on the other phone is like, "So-and-so, is that you?" Her cousin had pushed the button on Zillow.
That's crazy.
And she happened to pick up, and she's like, "God damn it, now I have to give a 45% to Zillow for you to be my client when you know that at our family restaurant, my name saying that I am a real estate agent is right on the wall there. You know that I'm in real estate." Anyway, that was a sad story,
really
but it was
funny.
kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
I'll never forget that one. That was a good one.
God.
Anyway, all that to say, I couldn't do Zillow leads with this team because I had a 6-month-old. I didn't know when she was going to be, or if I picked up, would she start crying, or what? It's just. And then a lot of times people want to see the house right then, or they want to see it that night. And so I never took the Zillow leads. And so because I wasn't taking these Zillow leads for these small wins, these fast wins, I didn't close any clients in the 11 months that I had been with this brokerage. So on that phone conversation, I was told I either needed to move to inactive and just be what they call a referral agent, so that if anyone said that they wanted to buy or sell, I would refer them to another agent on the team, and I would just get a cut for referring, or I needed to move on. And after a lot of crying and being really upset.
And you were on vacation.
And I was on vacation. I remember I took the phone call. We were in, we were in San Diego at the shops down there. Oh, it's not Newport Beach, but there's like some fancy shops in San Diego. And I just remember Michael was paying for parking, and he's like staring at me from the driver's side. And I'm like talking on the phone, trying to keep it together. And I hang up, and then I just start bawling. And I'm like, I'm so mad as I'm crying, because I cry when I get mad.
Yeah.
Just because of the misunderstandings. So anyway, when I got home, I called the actual broker, the actual owner of the company, just because this guy was not technically the broker. And I was like, I'm being told this. Is this correct? And he's like, yeah, unfortunately. Which what I didn't know at the time was this parent brokerage is charging these teams for every agent that is on their team. So I was costing this brokerage money, but I didn't really know that.
No.
And I thought I had been clearer that it was going to take me time, but maybe they were like, yeah, it's okay if it takes you time, but we still expect, 1 or 2
But that's where
sales
good
a year.
communication comes.
Communication's huge.
Yeah.
So we all dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah.
I'm still friends with that brokerage. Like, after I got over being PO'd that I got kicked off the team, they're great people. They are still doing great stuff. They still, I would still recommend people to them if they're looking for a team environment and need leads handed to them and are in a position where they could take like Zillow leads. Like, they're awesome. They're fantastic.
No, you're right. We talked about buckets. Short-term bucket, Zillow leads are a great option. It's just, it's a little hard for a primary parent with kids not in school.
Yeah. So from my first brokerage to my second brokerage, I gained that knowledge of having a local team. But what I lacked was the I guess, communication or expectations of how quickly I needed to start. Yeah. So from there, I found a third team under the same umbrella brokerage.
I didn't know that all of them were with the same umbrella brokerage.
Yes. And if anyone is in real estate, so the umbrella brokerage is Side Inc. They're based out of San Francisco. Yeah. You won't see their name on anything. The way the tattletale mark that all of these brokerages are, all these brokerages teams are under the same, is that when you go on their website and you look at the managing broker, it's all the same person. So that was how I was finding, I was just like, hunting Sacramento, like best real estate agents in Sacramento. And I'd pull up someone's website and I'd see who the managing broker was. And if it was this particular person, I'd be like, oh, they were a part of the side community.
Why did you want to stay with the side community?
Because I really liked their back end stack.
Okay.
Like their technology. I really enjoyed their training. I really enjoyed everything I knew. They were the only...
Technology is a huge part, by the way.
So because it was this parent company, all of the back end was the same. So I wasn't relearning. I wasn't really nice. I knew all the back end stuff because it was all the same. I knew how to log into the meetings with the brokers who were doing the trainings. I knew how to access everything. Yeah. I knew they provided Follow-Up Boss as a CRM, which is a really, well, it was before it was bought by Zillow. It was a really popular one in real estate community. And so all of the back end stuff was the same. And I liked all of the back end stuff. And so for me, it was about finding the team that really provided that niche fit and so I was like, okay, third time's the charm. Let's try another one. And the gal that I joined, she was a team, a brokerage, but it was just her and one other agent. And so I would have been the second agent. And so it was like, I really liked it. It was this really, connected feel, like a really small family feel. Yeah. I was very clear with her. I was like, apparently I was not clear with the last people. I'm going to be super fucking clear with you that I do not know how long it's going to take for me to build my client base. And you need to be okay with that. And she's like, yeah, not a problem. I totally understand. And she's like, I actually do because her team had really optimized Google. And so she pops up all the time at the top of Google searches for people. So she gets, and they do, and her, and she pays for a lot of third-party sites that are not Zillow. So there are other third-party sites that will feed leads to brokers. And so she paid for a lot of these other third-party sites. And she's like, I just, I need another pair of hands to help me go to inspection, cover inspections for me. Or, eventually I'm going to start a family and I'm going to need someone to cover me during my maternity leave, this, that, or the other. So I was like, great. This sounds...
Which, again, invaluable experience for you.
Yes. So great. So I joined her, learned so much. I met some of my favorite vendors through her. She did go on maternity leave and I worked all of her clients because it was just me and another gal. So and so we were able to, I got a lot of experience. And I did a full year with her. And when she came back from maternity, she ended up getting pregnant and having her baby. Yeah. And so, we bonded over the mom club.
Which good for her because in our industry, getting maternity leave is almost unheard of.
Yeah. She legit took 3 months off. Unheard of. How long was it before you sent that email or were calling? Was it
I got
3
my phone
hours?
taken away from me after I gave birth. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you were doing it from the hospital bed. Yeah. So I'm really proud of her and she has created something really amazing. But when she came back from maternity leave, I wanted to know what my trajectory was in her. Because, I had just provided quite a bit of support for her while she was on maternity leave. And so I was hoping that now that I had more transactions under my belt, that my split would be increased. Because
also you were doing your own loans, you were doing your own homes at this time as well.
Yes. So I was bringing in my own clients. She was probably providing 2/3 of the clients that I was working with. I brought in another third. And so, I was asking hey, what do you need to see before we're ready to move to the next split? And unfortunately, the response was that I needed to bring in X amount of personal clients before she would consider a split. And for me, when I looked at the numbers, I realized even if I did the numbers I was doing now for client, the numbers I was doing, just that 1/3, but at a brokerage with a higher split, I would be making more than I was doing 100% with her, if you count the 2/3 from her plus me. Because there was this one, I think I've talked about this story before, of one of her third-party leads. So it was a lead from her, but she had bought it from a different lead source. And after all of the splits were taken out, it was $800 in my bank account, which in our industry is not typical for a commission check. And it was like, and
also that's below minimum wage. Like when you look at the amount of time spent, like on what you did for that file, the time you spent driving, visiting, doing things, it's below minimum wage.
Yeah. And so, you know, I was hoping that it would work out with her. But I knew once she like laid it out for me of what would be required to get a higher split that I needed to, it was time for me to move on. Yeah. That the time had come. And we're going to talk about like what you can, those signs that it's time to leave, and that capping out ceiling, like hitting that ceiling is one of those times that, and for me, I had essentially met my ceiling with this team. And so how are we doing on time? We're plugging away. This is going to be a long one. That's okay. After we tell our stories, I think that we're going to be a little bit more succinct with our bullet points, but it's good. I think our stories are good. Yeah. And I think people enjoy hearing our stories.
I think so. And I think it's good to hear people hear that they're not alone. Like you said, people sometimes are little bunnies hopping around and they feel bad about it. But I think hearing how you did it and how you've now grown from it, I think is really important. Yeah,
for sure. Okay. So once I realized emotionally, mentally that I was going to need to leave, I'm one of those people who I'm a self-starter. I am a self-educator. And so I went on some Reddit rabbit holes.
We both love Reddit, by the way.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with Reddit. and one of our clients that I got found me through Reddit. So that's so cool. Which is funny because I think she found me on like a 10 things to do, like to get your kids for Christmas post in the Sacramento subreddit. So it wasn't even like a necessarily real estate related, but it connected us, and it's fantastic. And now she gave me hand-me-down clothes for my daughter from her daughter, and Miss Maya loves wearing the clothes that she was given from her daughter. So anyway, Reddit, creating relationships and clients. And anyway, so I went down Reddit rabbit holes. I went on YouTube and I watched a ton of videos on YouTube. And then I started listening to podcasts. So real estate podcasts. So between the three of those, I found a gal named Allie. She goes by Allie the Agent. She is a part of eXp Realty. And so I binge watched every single one of her YouTube videos. Like she has whole series. She's big about helping people use YouTube to find clients and use videos to find clients. She was on multiple podcasts that I listened to as a guest on the podcast. She like right now, I think she's been abroad for like 3 months or 4 months, and she's just working remotely.
Kill it, girl.
And she actually has like agents that she works with. So she hasn't lived in Tucson, Arizona for years. She actually like lived in Minnesota the last couple of years, but she had her Arizona license. And so she would partner with agents in Arizona to do like showings for her and be present for inspections. And she works like 30 to 50% of her clients are buyers in Tucson, Arizona.
That's crazy. That's great.
That she works with remotely. Yeah. So anyway, all of this, I'm figuring out all about her. And I'm like, you know what? I think eXp might be a good fit for me, which, you know, in the real estate industry, eXp is like called the MLM of real estate, and people have really bad negative things to say about eXp. But I always found myself like I looked at them when I was first looking at brokerages, and I'm like, this all sounds great. It's just like for some reason people are calling them the MLM of real estate because you get, if you bring an agent into the fold, you get a percentage of their commission that from the brokerage. And so, you know, of course, if in the wrong hands, it can be kind of slimy and it can be MLM-y. But like what I loved about what Allie was doing is she had a whole channel dedicated to agents explaining EXP, explaining how she gets clients from YouTube, explaining giving all of this education.
She's giving the secret sauce out.
She's giving the secret sauce out. And it's you have to come to me situation. She has a link on her YouTube, and she said, hey, if this resonates with you, if you want to join us here at EXP, book a call with me. And then you have to answer like 10 questions in order to even book a call with her. And so you're getting really people who are self-motivated in order. And so all of this seemed like right up my alley. No pun intended. So I scheduled a call with Allie, and it ended up, I felt like it was going to be a really great fit. And so I onboarded with EXP, and I have been with them now for almost a year and a half. And it's amazing. I love it so much.
I've seen you through a bit of these seasons.
Yes.
Because
we met. Yeah.
We met at pretty much the beginning of everything. Yeah. And so I remember you making the switch to EXP, and I remember the burnout you were feeling prior, and seeing the switch up afterwards. It was noticeable. So it was as a friend, and as a business partner, it was noticeable. Like I felt like you were less stressed, and I felt like you felt more, not respected, but you were feeling more.
Definitely felt more empowered.
There we go.
I was doing half the amount of work and making double the money.
Yep.
Half the amount of work making double the money. That's insane.
That's great. That's like, you don't understand. Like, she's a hard worker. She's not, it's not like she's complaining about working. It's just the fact that now she's being given the accolades and the financial benefit that you should have been getting.
Yeah. Well, and also it allowed me to make the same amount of money, make double the amount of money, but still have extra time to be primary parent.
Yeah.
And EXP is the first brokerage that I've been with that has a cap. So for those who are unfamiliar, a cap means every year after you give your brokerage a certain amount of money, at EXP it's $16,000 of your commission, then the rest of your anniversary year, the rest of your year, you get to take 100% of your commission home.
That's unheard of.
With Side, there was no cap. So it didn't matter how many deals I did, they were always going to pull a split from me. They were always going to take 30, 40, 50% of my check from me.
Yeah.
So to get to a point where I could have 100% and I think I did 1 or 2 deals last year after I capped. And then I'm curious to see when I cap this year. The thing about this year is I have so many clients that are ready to buy, but the inventory is just not there right now. And so I'm dying because I have they're just circling. My buyers are circling, just waiting to pounce on the right house. And so, I'm waiting. Haven't made that. We haven't made these deals yet, but they're in the pipeline. They're ready to.
It's going to get there. It's going to get there, especially with how interest rates have lowered in the recent weeks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who have homes that they've been wanting to sell, but they wanted to have competition for it.
Yeah.
And I think everyone was kind of like are
back
you
and
moving?
forth.
Are you moving?
Yeah. Am I moving? Are you moving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the movement's starting. So.
I think so too. I noticed as soon as Super Bowl passed.
It's like that every year, baby. Super Bowl is my Sunday.
Super Bowl, and then the following week. And then last week, things really picked up again. And so now that we're in March, I'm hoping March, April, and May are slam dunk months. That's my fingers crossed.
I would say that Super Bowl Sunday and Valentine's weekend, those usually are my startup of when I see my applications uptick.
Interesting. What's the correlation with Valentine's? Do you know?
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
Maybe love in the air and they're like, let's buy a house. I have no idea. But I think it's just because the holiday seasons are over.
Yeah, officially.
Seasons are over. January, I feel like everyone's doing the new year, new me. I'm cleaning things up. And then after they've done cleaning things up, getting themselves restarted, now they're like, okay, I can start making these moves.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And also interest rates usually lower in January. That's usually when they start. And so I think with the interest rates lowering, people realizing it, that's what I think. Yeah, so Valentine's Day, Super Bowl Sunday is right when my applications start picking up again.
All right. Good to know. Interesting. And in regards to will I switch brokerages ever? Who knows? Maybe someday. Right now, I'm getting everything that I need from my brokerage plus some, and I love the community. And I haven't hit any plateau yet. I certainly have brokerages that are courting me. Some more than others. Some I get calls and texts from on a monthly basis. Some.
And don't stop.
I know. Don't stop. I love it. Makes me blush every time. But maybe someday, it's that cost benefit, right?
Yeah.
That we've talked about too, of maybe someday EXP won't give me what I'm looking for, and another brokerage, a local brokerage, may provide something invaluable that I'm not getting right now.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I have steady clients. I made Masters Club, so obviously I'm doing something right on my own. And I have a strong network and community in the nation, across the nation. So
What I really liked what you told me about your current brokerage is that when you have a question, there's multiple brokers. So you can easily get on a call and ask someone a question.
yeah,
And I also really like how you've told me how they go over the contracts
weekly.
Yeah. And they kind of like, okay, where did we lay off last week? Here's where we are. And then when they keep going over it.
And they cycle through them.
And they cycle through it.
Yeah.
I think those are two pieces that you've explained to me about your brokerage that I thought, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I guess we should probably continue on with our outline if we're ever gonna. This is gonna turn into a 2-hour podcast. Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, sorry guys. Okay, so one thing we want to talk about was we mentioned it in the intro, was the perfect fit checklist, right?
Yes. Because when you first get licensed or when you're considering a move, it's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like if it's all brand new, you don't even know what you're doing. How do you know what to look for in a brokerage? And I would be curious if what you look for from a brokerage on a mortgage side, how much it differs from what I would look for as an agent.
Yeah. I'm interested too. I feel like there's a lot of similarities in our industry.
Okay.
And there's a lot of similarities between you and me.
Yeah.
But there's also differences.
Yeah.
And so, I'm interested too. We talked about this quite a few times, but the split versus value.
Yes. And I wonder, this is probably for both of them, for mortgage and for real estate.
Yeah.
But what do you, all brokerages offer different splits. It can be from, usually the lowest I see on the real estate side is 50-50, up to, there are some companies that do 100% split, and you just pay like a flat fee for each file. But it's really important to look at what value are you getting for that split. So sometimes, like with my third brokerage, my split was lower with her, but I was getting hands in files, right? I was getting hands in transactions. I was able to meet vendors more frequently. I was learning a lot, and it was well worth it, as opposed to, like you said, 100% of zero is zero.
That's how I felt. So when I joined Hawkins Home Loans, I joined with a 60-40 split. So I was getting 60%. The brokerage was getting 40%. But the thing is, that was a time when I was hands in 40 of her files.
Yeah.
So I was her assistant. So I was getting my hourly pay plus I was getting a small portion of commission off of her loans.
Okay.
On top of getting 60% of my loans.
So you were getting 60-40.
60-40 on my own loans. I was getting a small proportion on her loans, and I was getting an hourly pay.
Okay.
So for me, starting out, that was a perfect setup.
Yeah.
Right? That was a setup for me that I was getting my own clients, building my own database, getting literally hand-holding me through the process. And then I was also getting to work on all of her files, yet still making a little bit extra too.
Yeah, that's great.
Right?
Yeah.
So for me, and honestly, maybe this is me going ahead, but I would love to do that for someone. Yeah. That would be my dream.
Yeah.
And so anyways, it was a great setup. I was able to learn a lot. Again, 60-40 split, not the prettiest.
I've been everywhere from 50-50 split to EXP is a flat 80-20 split.
Yeah.
Until you hit that cap. And so I've had splits all up and down that.
And so that, for me, the value made up for that at that time.
Yeah.
But luckily, my brokerage was able to evolve with me as I matured and I grew in my industry.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be very candid. I'm now at an 80-20 split.
Okay.
And I still help out with her files and get a portion of her splits on those as well. And that's grown too because I'm doing more.
Yeah.
And so for me, this makes total sense.
Yeah.
So, and maybe there'll be a point where I'm like, okay, now I need to focus on only my files. Maybe that point will come. But right now, an 80-20 split, which again, I have a broker with tons of knowledge. She's not someone who just sits there waiting for files to come through. She's, hands deep in her own files.
Yeah.
I have her in my corner reminding me if I'm having the right logic loop going on, or if I'm like, no, don't do that. I have someone doing that for me. And so for me, the value is still there.
Well, it's essentially paying 20% for a supervisor or however you want to, like a second pair of eyes.
A second pair of eyes. Yeah, absolutely. And that covers my processing fee too.
Okay.
So I'm not paying additional processing fees or anything like that.
In mortgage, do any brokers offer a cap like we do in real estate, or do some companies, or not really?
No one offers a cap that I know of. Maybe someone does. There is that company I mentioned who charges $695 flat fee. Mm-hmm. So they're like, just pay us $695 for a closed transaction, and that's it.
Yeah. But they're probably not providing like anything.
They're not providing a processor. They're not providing any guidance. They're not providing any of that stuff, right?
Yeah. I noticed that on the real estate side too, is like the flat fee brokerages. What are they offering? A CRM? Are they what about E&O insurance? Are they like, what are they covering? What is the training? How much training are they giving? And usually it's not much.
If you're someone who's like, I don't want to learn anyone else's way but the way that I want to learn.
And you already have all of your systems in place.
already have all of your systems in place.
And all of your marketing. And
all of your marketing.
Yeah.
If you have all of that, then that's the option for you.
Yeah.
But again, at that point, I ask, why not just found your own broker?
Okay, but I don't think I ever want to be a broker because I don't want the liability. I always want to pass the buck on someone else. Okay. I don't want to be the
But let's think about side.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you be a broker underside?
I could. I mean, now my eyes have opened up, and I don't think that side is I don't think that their system is as great as I thought it was when I,
But I'm just asking under that kind of.
In fact, my second brokerage that I went with, that team moved to EXP. They moved their team to EXP.
Really?
Yeah. So now they're under EXP. And you can be a solo agent with EXP, or you can be on a team with EXP.
Yeah.
Depending on if you need extra support. And you can have with the team a different split than with EXP.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The more you know. Okay. So split versus value.
Okay.
So I still feel that 80-20 split, no cap, or there's no cap with direct contact with my broker and support makes complete sense.
Okay. So then the next thing I would say, which we have already touched on a little bit, is that culture and community, right? Like, what is that culture? Who are you aligning yourself with? What are you learning from them? Do you need in person, or are you okay? Like for the real estate side, EXP is a remote brokerage, cloud-based is what they call it, where you're doing everything from your kitchen table. Like there's not, but some people really love that. I really love that, being a primary parent. Other people really want an office that they can show up at every day and have that community in that way. So you have to figure out what is important to you. Yeah,
I had a agent tell me, they're like, if I do not go in the office every single day, I'm not getting work done.
Yeah, and I would tell that agent, EXP is not for you.
Yeah.
Hands down, I don't want everyone to come to EXP. I want people who are going to thrive at EXP.
Yeah,
EXP.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, when you go in person, when you do want an in-person office, sometimes you're paying a monthly fee, right? So I had an agent tell me that to join her team, she has to pay $110 a month for the office fee. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, whether I close a loan or not, I'm paying this monthly fee for the office.
Ooh.
I know.
Does she have her own desk at least?
I've told her to contact you.
Okay. Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully she does. Yeah. Okay. And then the third thing.
Well, I was also going to say with culture and
Tell me.
community, last year, an agent asked me if I would go door knocking with them. And I was like, sure. You know,
Okay.
like I have no problem.
Sure.
I'll go door knocking around your neighborhood with you.
You're the person to bring if you're going to go door knocking.
And they are wearing the name of their brokerage on their shirt. And it's a larger brokerage.
Okay.
And we get to a door and it was a guy and he was an appraiser. And he says, oh, you're with such and such? And he says, aren't you guys dealing with a few lawsuits right now?
Ooh, dang. Burn.
And so that's also something you have to consider, right?
Yeah.
Who you attach,
Public. Yeah.
who you
public
attach your
perception.
name to absolutely matters. You get
Yeah.
one thing in this world and it's your name. And
Yeah.
it's who you are, who you are.
Dang.
And if you're attaching yourself to someone and it has bad PR currently,
That sucks though, because like I mean, I think your point is very valid, but it does suck. Of like,
does.
as an agent, you're not the broker, but you are deciding to hang your license under that broker. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
yeah. So sorry, I want to bring that up with culture
Yeah.
and community.
Yeah. Dang.
Last is you kind of mentioned this earlier, and I wanted to touch on it too. Tech.
Yes.
So in mortgage, there are like 4 main POS systems. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I use, and I do not want to change. If for
Okay.
some reason my brokerage closed and I had to join another one, I would have to find one that uses this same POS system.
Okay.
Arrive.
Yeah.
So we used to all use we always use Point,
Okay.
Calix. Calix looks like I'm driving a beat up 1998 Honda Civic with a broken stick that's wobbly. Like, I mean, like,
See, these are the questions. Now someone who might be interviewing brokerages will be able to say,
Yep.
which POS system
Yeah.
are you using?
it was bad. It was bad. And it would be so frustrating to use. It just was so archaic. It looked like I was literally using like a big box computer again. And like I could hear like the modem sound in my head whenever I was using it.
God.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And some people still use it.
Painful.
And so we switched over to Arrive.
Okay.
There's a few other ones out there, and I've been testing them out. You know, I'm here's me. I'll be honest. I love what I got, but if something's better is out there, I'm not too big to change over.
Sure.
So whenever I see a new POS and I hear people on the chat saying, "Oh, this is the new POS," I check it out. Hasn't been better than Arrive yet.
Okay.
And again, I'm hypercritical. There's things I don't like about Arrive. But the thing is, what I like about them is they're constantly making updates. And when people are complaining on the Facebook groups, they usually will get on fixing a problem.
I like that. I like
Me too.
I like that they're in tune to what's going on.
But overall, you know, like you said with CRMs, you know, for me personally, I'm going to choose my CRM. I don't
Yeah.
care what a company's using.
Okay.
I'm always going to pay for my own CRM.
Okay.
But also that's because I like having access to my buck.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's my buck.
Well, I have a story. Do we have time for a story?
Please.
Okay. First of all, your eyebrows are on fleek today. They look so good.
Wow, thank you so much, because I got my eyebrows threaded and I cried because I thought they didn't look good, and I tweezed them myself to make them look like this. So I really appreciate it.
They look amazing.
Thank you so
I'm just
much.
like staring at you and I'm like, oh my God. Your eyebrows look
TMI,
so
but I
good.
went on a date and the guy complimented my eyebrows, and I was like, that is such a nice compliment.
So now you've had 2 compliments for your eyebrows. Dang.
Ooh.
Okay. Now I have to remember what my story was that I got distracted by your eyebrows.
By the way, when we I don't know if you guys saw our photos from our photo shoot, but we were we were taking our photos and they were like, Lenny, just like smile with your mouth closed. And they were like, okay, don't try and have sex with the camera. And I was like, oh my gosh, you told me.
Half of our pictures look like we just got engaged.
I know.
Half of them look really professional. The other half may never see the light of day because they just like we just got engaged and we're in a love fest.
Okay, tech.
Okay, what was my story? Damn it.
We were talking about
CRM?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. Let me get situated. Let me roll
You
up my
all
sleeves.
caught us on a very silly day.
You did, and you're getting extra long podcast because of it. Okay, so one of the brokerages that I was with, we used, so all of the side brokerages, they used Follow Up Boss as their CRM, which is a really, really nice interfaced CRM. I don't trust it now that Zillow has purchased it, but that's aside the point. But one of my brokers that I worked with, she had an assistant who was like inside sales, and she would filter all of like the clients and things like that for the broker. But because it was such a small brokerage, and all of our files were like connected under one hub, she started calling all of my clients. And she was saying things like, are you looking to buy or sell? Now, for me, when it comes to how I visualize files and clients, I like to use Trello. It's just a easy system for me. There's an app. It's online. It has a board system. I can move people to different lanes. It's very easy interface for me. But I like to use a CRM kind of like an address book, like literally like an address book. I was using it. I put everyone in there, all of my family members in there, so that I had everyone's addresses and phone numbers in one spot. It was just easier for me. And so I was using it like an address book. Yeah. And so all of a sudden, this assistant is calling my aunt and asking, well, when are you looking to buy or sell in Sacramento? And people are calling me confused. And I'm like, oh my fucking, this is so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. This is not. And so then I had to do tags and say, do not call, Amanda's lead, do not call. She continued to call them. And so I ended up having to pull them out of the CRM system completely. But just to your point of sometimes you are linked with your broker and you don't have full control over your CRM. And that was like a lesson that I learned the hard way of, if it works well, it is a nice place to have everyone's phone numbers, addresses. You can put notes in there. I can like anything. Like sometimes as a mom, it's hard to remember things. And so just being able to type little notes of like, oh, the last time I talked to this person, I found out that so-and-so was engaged and this and that. Yeah. And it's really handy if it's being used correctly. And when it's not, all of a sudden it turns into no good, no bueno. Oh, yeah. Anyway,
that's a nightmare.
It was a nightmare. We got through it though.
Especially because you and I are so, you and I aren't transaction-based. We're relationship-based.
Oh my God, yeah.
And so how we talk to our clients and our people is very different than that.
Than how an inside sales rep is going to talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't imagine that. That's just not how I talk to people.
I know.
Anyways.
Yeah. Is there anything else on your perfect fit checklist that you feel we should touch on?
I'm trying to think. I'm just really big on someone meeting your same ethics. Like it's really important that the company that you're with has the same values. Yeah. Like it's okay if you guys differ on how you execute, but having the same values is really important. Yeah. Or even if they don't have the same values, they respect your values. Yeah. That's something really important to me. So, and then, another one, that's the one I want to talk about, communication style.
Oh my gosh.
Communication style, I think might be the biggest one, actually. So communication is really important to me. I'm a very big communicator. So if I'm with someone and they have a completely different communication style, or it's one that I don't mesh with, there's no way I can work with you. You could have all three of the other things working, but if the communication isn't there, there's no way we can move forward. Yeah. So making sure that during that, because when you're interviewing with a real estate brokerage or mortgage brokerage, they're not interviewing you, you're interviewing them. Yes. And remembering that the entire time. Yes. And making sure that when you're leaving that conversation, you felt like you were heard and you understood them. If you don't feel that even if the other things are working out, I don't think it's going to be a good fit.
Yes, I agree.
That's it.
Sweet. Let's kind of rapid fire through this next section, which is when you might be considering seeing if it's time to move on from the brokerage that you're in. So you're with a brokerage, you've been with them for a little bit, and what are some red flags that might show that it's time to move on? So do you want me to go through the red flags and then you can go through some of the fear?
Yeah.
Does that work for you? All right. So red flag number 1, is your growth stagnant or have you hit a ceiling on earnings? Like this is what I experienced when I was with a brokerage that didn't do a cap.
Yeah.
Lack of communication from leadership. Just like we just talked about that. So if the communication style, maybe you thought that it was going to work out, but then over time you're like, this is like, I can't access my broker. I'm not getting training. We're not communicating at all. It might be a sign that you need to consider a move.
Absolutely.
And then the other one is, does technology feel like it's from 2005? This one's funny because when I was first checking out brokerages, there are 2 local brokerages to the Sacramento region. I'm just going to name them. I'm going to lay it all out there. Lion and Lion. I think actually Lion might only be one brokerage. Okay. Lion might be the only one I'm thinking of. I think there's another one though. No, I'm just going to say Lion. So Lion Brokerage is local to Sacramento brokerage. They were at the time when I was getting my license. And I really, really liked the idea of being with like a family-owned brokerage that's been based out of Sacramento and that's it. But every time that I went to their website or I looked at their marketing, I was like, oh my God, it's just so dated. Oh my God, it just looks so bad.
It just hurt your eyes.
It hurt my eyes. And no matter how much I tried to make it make sense, I kept coming back to, it looks way too dated. And so I never gave Lion a consideration. And I don't think they exist anymore. I think they got swallowed up by Windermere.
We struggle with that. I want to say Windermere.
Yeah.
And then when I go to type it in, I'm like, where's Windermere? Why aren't they popping up? It's Windermere.
There's an extra R in there.
There's a lot of R's in that.
Anyway, okay. So those are some red flags.
Yeah. And then, obviously there's fear of leaving, right?
You've already talked about some of those.
Yeah, absolutely. The golden handcuffs, like what's the cost of me rebranding? What's the cost of me moving everything? Let's say in your industry, once a client is established, your client relationship established is with you and the brokerage, right?
Right.
And so like, I'm in the middle of a listing. Like, am I gonna have to wait until I have no listings to move? Like,
such a pain in the ass. Yeah. But also like the pipeline, like the CRM that you were saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you put something in a CRM oftentimes when you put something in a CRM that the broker provided, they are in charge of that. So now they can take all of those clients when you leave and reach out. So yeah, you can reach out to them, but so can the broker.
And then why staying in a bad fit is more expensive in the long run. We talked about that earlier with your transition. Sure, you were losing 2/3 of the files you were working on.
Yeah.
But what was the cost?
There's definitely a fear to leaving. But at the end of the day, are you willing to put up with that short-term pain for long-term gain?
And for me personally, I consider, am I still able to be a good parent if I stay in this? That's something I consider.
That's a good guiding light.
Am I going to stay a good parent? Yeah. Because if you are struggling and you are hating life, are you able to be a good parent? No.
Yeah.
No, because then that struggle is at the forefront of your brain rather than enjoying every moment with these kiddos.
Yeah.
So I try and remember that when I think of things. I mean, I haven't switched brokerages since having my kiddo, but that's something I consider as
But it still keeps you, it's still top of mind to you. I'm sure that you continue to come back to that because even with the best brokerages, you still need to have that check-in with yourself every once in a while. You don't want to get stagnant or lazy and be like, is this still what's best for me
and think
best for my family?
I hope that everyone listening who works in our industry has a relationship with their brokerage where they can talk to them every 6 months and say, because that's what I do. Lori and I do that every 6 months. I'm like, hey, how's our relationship looking? We still good? Like, is there anything that I'm missing out on? Is there anything that you're missing out on? Are we happy? Lori asks me that all the time. We were sitting down having lunch the other day, and she's like, hey, do you feel like I'm like feeding what you need in order to grow?
I love that.
And like just having someone ask me that
Yeah.
and genuinely care about my answer to it it's
huge.
important.
Yeah.
So like when I think about the fear of leaving, it's like, as long as if you're not currently getting that, like those other fears are something that maybe should just be like put aside for right now so that you can get that next step.
Yeah.
Because growth is scary. Growth is really scary.
For sure.
But scary isn't a bad thing always.
Not at all.
No.
Well, and if you've been listening to this and you're like, you know what? I am ready for a new change, or I do want to talk more about like what a brokerage change looks like, or like just joining brokerage for the first time too. Like I know we kind of ran out of time this episode to get deep in it, but our DMs are always open, and both of us are in positions where we're bringing people in to our spaces, our teams. I mean, you even mentioned it earlier this episode that you're thinking of bringing on the next generation that you can mentor, and I feel the same.
Yeah, and I'm really big. I think just the fact that I've had mentors in my life since middle school has made me feel like I like being a mentor.
Yeah.
And so if you're thinking about joining mortgage, and you're thinking that might be the next step in your career or source of income, I'm happy to chat with you over coffee, or if you're farther, we can chat over Zoom or phone. Yeah. And we can talk about what that looks like. I will tell you, I'm very selective on what I can bring in to my space. But if you and I are a good vibe both ways, I'm happy to bring you in and figure out how I can, kind of like how I was done for me, like bring you into the fold, get you into files, getting you used to it, and then hopefully getting you to a spot where you can be your own LO.
Yeah, love that. And I also, if you go on my website, exploresacliving.com, I have...
It's a really nice website, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I have a link for any agents that are interested in chatting about EXP and if that could be a good fit for you. So I'm happy you can schedule a call with me. I think for both of us, so I'll say this. If you're going to join us, it's self-starter. You need to be self-starter. You need to be able to find out your own information. You need to be able to have us tell you where to find information and then be able to go and dig it up. Like, we ain't got time to hold hands over here. Obviously, we will mentor and grow, but it is with the expectation that, you know, we're spiraling up, right? So the more that we teach you, and that doesn't mean you can't ask the same question twice, but the more that we teach you, you continue to grow and you continue to build your own force in business. But even if that's not you and you just want someone to talk to, you know, just one conversation about like, what should I be looking for in a brokerage? What should I be looking for if I want to do this career? We're happy to hop on one-time calls with people, even if you're not a good fit for coming into our fold necessarily. You're still part of the community.
Oh, totally. And let's say you're in a position where it's not a good fit for us particularly. We know a lot of people in this industry, and we can probably like guide you in the right direction to someone who would be the perfect match.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what we love to do. We love being connectors.
Yeah. So. Rising tides, baby.
Woo woo. All right. Well, we're going to let you guys go. Thank you for hanging with us. This was a fun one.
This was a really fun one.
I'm so glad.
You guys had a good time.
Yeah. We were so chatty. We gotta record more frequently so that we're not doing 2 hours.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Bye, you guys.
That's Realty Check.
Real lives, real estate, and the conversations most people do not want to have.
We'll talk soon.